The markets are moving, they're crazy, and things just don't seem to stop with this Russia-Ukraine situation. Today, we're bringing in the heavy-duty weapons to help us answer the questions you have about the markets. Let's bring them in. Let's bring in the tank. Eivind Beidel. How's it going, man? Thank you for being back, and I love the sunglasses, as per usual. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Per usual, okay. Third time's a charm, isn't it? Yeah. No, I was actually not available when this new drop or the market moves. I was far, so I'm like coming back to the charts. I'm like, what is happening?
Yes,
and that's why I am following financial. Or you don't show my screen. That's why I'm updated like on Twitter right now. I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? And there's a lot of going on. So yeah.
Yes, and Eivind, we need to hear some. We need some clarity today. So Russia, Ukraine, of course, still taking market headlines, and then we're seeing some volatility with the stock market selling off. Still, we got US 30 and SPX 500 reaching their lows that they made previously. I'd love to bring you in on that and start maybe just a little bit with the stock market, and then we'll talk maybe about gold. I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of those places. What are you looking at? What are you thinking with those markets?
That I bought it and I hit my stop loss, and I'm waiting anxiously to this for this crisis to get over it, so we can start making some bullish trades again.
So you bought S&P 500 recently, or when?
Yeah, there.
Okay.
Like in that setup there, and then of course it failed on me. But so it's a couple of 3, 4, 5 days ago. So not today though. But yeah. So
did you buy it as an investment, or did you buy it as a trade?
As an investment, as a 20-year trade.
Okay.
And so I'm just trying to kick it in there. I tried buying it for 20 years, and maybe I'm a bit short term there, like trying to catch the pullback and all those things. But it's just me showing that it doesn't really matter like your entry right now, because if you can hold it for 20 years, you're still going to try, and it's still going to compound as the market still grows, as we are all, or the whole financial market is set up to make the stock market go higher in the long run. So for me, it's okay. It's a small loss. I can move over.
Yeah, and so like that's your thoughts on equities. Do you have any currency pairs or markets that you're looking at in terms of that? I think you and I are on the same page with dollar yen. I left my stream asking what your thoughts, or saying that I would ask about your thoughts on dollar yen, because I know you had mentioned it. What's your thoughts on dollar yen?
Okay, you can do dollar yen. I was about to show you something else, but I can do that. Also right now for me, it's a no-go zone.
Really? Okay. What's your so why?
Both of them are strong. We're not moving.
And so
since yesterday we haven't moved more than, I know I surprised you there. We haven't moved more than 20 pips today. I don't run for 20 pips. And what's the overall trend?
So my thoughts with dollar yen. I'll just share my thoughts and see what you think.
Yeah.
So dollar yen, it's kind of like what you just said with the S&P 500. Should things rotate out of this? Should we see, there was I believe that there was a France came out with like a summit idea to discuss things with Russia, Ukraine. Of course, that's up in the air whether or not that will progress in a way that calms market fears. But Russia, Ukraine, as long as that fear is there, sure, there is still a strong catalyst for the yen and for the dollar. But my thought is this: if there is any pullback, if there is any calming down on that situation, I would expect dollar against the yen to start to rise. Now, to be fair, maybe you wait for a sign of that before you get long. I'm a little bit preemptive, but I did take a position on dollar yen. We'll see if I get smacked or not. But the idea being that optimism, if there's any sign of optimism, I think dollar yen does okay. That's just my take on it.
Isn't New Zealand dollar a better trade, or Australia dollar yen? Because Australia just opened up like today for foreigners.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask about that. Why is Aussie dollar so strong right now? Aussie and NZD. So that they had an opening up. What was that concept?
They are opening up to people that is double vaccinated for the first time in like, I don't know, 2 years or whatever since COVID started.
For international travel, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now flights to Australia are starting.
Interesting.
So that is an economic upside. The other side is that they also went out of lockdown in December, like they stopped lockdown. So now we are starting to see the economy starting to increase again.
Interesting.
So
Yeah, I haven't been trading the Aussie and Kiwi pairs, so I'm curious to hear more about that and look into that. So the thing here with the dollar, I still think that the dollar in general is a buy. The question with the yen is really the fear basis, right? Because I always look at the yen as kind of that fear gauge. The yen will be strong if fear persists. The yen will likely weaken if fear subsides. So I don't know. Maybe there are some better ones to trade the yen against if you're long bias. I'm not totally risk on by any means. I'm just thinking that if there's any pullback on that pressure, that the dollar could come out top. I'm still oriented towards risk off overall right now, so I still like the dollar. It's that's kind of my take.
If we are ending this this tension tomorrow or today or next moment, do you know what's going to happen tomorrow on the calendar on New
What's
Zealand?
that?
Interest rate hike. 1%, right? 1% is priced in already. The question is it the market going to be disappointed? But that's kind of the reason why New Zealand has been strong lately, and I figured out that too late. But here we are. We now are looking back, and we are made $1 million from that. But
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So what's your thoughts? So are you switching into being more bullish on NZD off of that? I mean, yes, that's kind of the forecasted, and they are seemingly in terms of a figure, right? They're ahead by most standards compared to the other central banks. Does that have enough of an effect for you to be bullish on NZD USD, NZD yen, NZD CHF? What are your thoughts on that?
so I'm trying to direct you now, right? Because the thing is here is market is the learning point is dollar is strong, New Zealand is strong, Australian is strong, pound is strong, everything is strong. And the USD yen trade is probably the least one I will take, because if dollar gets weaker as this tension moves away, risk assets like Aussie, New Zealand, pound are going to rise much more than USD yen. So
Well, and
my
yeah, and
take
that's
is probably not that I'm risk on as a general. I am acknowledging that the risk pair has way more move to run higher. Just to mention the last one, New Zealand dollar by I think it's ING by the model that New Zealand dollar is currently 1% lower than the real value of it, so it has
interesting.
legs to go higher.
Interesting. Yeah, and I discussed that. I made a video kind of recently talking about NZD and Aussie, but it's been a minute since I've really caught up on the latest with them. But so I think that that's an interesting concept. But again, Ivan, with the Russia Ukraine situation, does that not act as a damper on NZD, Aussie, as they are sort of that higher risk in general currency compared to the dollar and the yen? That's the other part of it, is that, you know, in terms of risk on, they would probably do really good. In terms of risk off, aren't they a bit limited?
I would agree. Yes, but the thing is that these are the assets that has performed the best, and the slightest moment of positivism.
I see what
That's
you're
a new
saying.
word. So, but what I'm trying to say here, dollar bullish so far today. It can change any moment for the worse or for the better. Putin is now talking about that he is going to looking into recognizing the separatists that is pro-Russia in East Ukraine. That's what's really sparking all of this. And if that's going to happen, is Ukraine going to fight back? Because it's still their country, still their land. It's not like they are just giving it away to anyone for free. So that's kind of where things are. The thing with Macron, Putin, Biden, and that talk, Putin didn't want to, or Kremlin didn't want to. They're like, oh, it's too early. That was earlier today. So the conclusion is dollar strength. When we are when we see the slightest move of reducing of tension, you need to have your plan ready. The thing that I briefly mentioned about nat gas earlier, if you saw it, was that there was reports of explosions in Donbass, which is a city in or an area in Ukraine, and I bought nat gas as the half an hour before it closed. That's how you should be in this kind of a market environment, where you hear a very clear direction as to where we are going, and we can shift any moment. But that led to nat gas breaking higher because it deteriorated over the weekend and has continued up higher. So why nat gas? Russia supplies Europe with the natural gas, as you explained in your live as well.
Interesting. My last question for you, just going off of what you just mentioned, the last thing I wanted to ask before I hop off is this. So with the risk off, risk on, are you more looking to wait until there's solid news and you already kind of see the move start to happen back towards a risk on environment, or are you looking for earlier clues than that to try and find it? Because again, maybe you get something that looks kind of risk on, but it just kind of fades, it turns back into risk off again, or are you looking for something real serious to shock markets back into a risk on before looking to get involved?
I would always say, and I will never, ever, ever go away from this, always trade your plan. Even though earlier today, London Open, we had euro dollar was rising, Aussie dollar was rising, everything was rising, and I was like, what is happening? What is happening? But then in the end, the prices I put up yesterday still held. So no matter what you see, no matter what you hear, keep true to what do you believe in. If you believe it's going to be dollar bullish, dollar bearish, because that's what's going to set you free in the end. That's what's going to give you the pips that you deserve.
Interested in seeing our trades live as they happen? By joining the A1 Trading Discord, you'll get a notification every time one of our traders enters a position. Each trade we share comes with an entry price, a stop loss, and most importantly, a full breakdown of why the trade was taken. Learn alongside our experienced traders, join our active chat room, and ask your questions in our coaching webinars. Between our team of active traders, we trade forex pairs, commodities like gold and oil, crypto, and stocks. By joining the group, you'll be able to keep up with all of it. Sign up today using the link in the description, and don't forget to use our promo code listed below for a special subscriber discount. Thanks for watching, and see you inside.